What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about an email that I got, and the individual whose name is Greg said that I can use his name in the video. And okay, well, I mean, we're just going to talk about some shit because, you know what, there's deep shit going on right now. Not deep shit, but, you know, deep emotional stuff going on in my life, in this guy's life, in a lot of people's lives right now. And sometimes you need to step back from the fucking bodybuilding and wanting to get huge and wanting to get leans and get shreds and all this shit and stop and fucking really think about what's important, because you lose track of that shit. You really do lose track of what's important in life when you get really wrapped up in some of this shit that one day this is going to be gone. So I was trying to explain to some of the people in the Geared Up group online one day was each and every one of you motherfuckers are not going to be able to train one day. I'm not training the capacity that you are. They make fun of Mike Quinn, Mighty Mike Quinn, who's a fucking great diet guy who was a pioneer in bodybuilding because the way he looks now. And it's like, dude, do you understand that right now he can't train the way he used to? Joints are banged up, injuries. Like, you just don't get the fact that bodybuilding is not life. Life is life. So this comes from Greg. He said, "Hey, Jerry, I lost my father last Tuesday morning. His funeral was this past Monday. He passed away from congestive heart failure." Okay, now, right off the bat, I'm like, I was having a bad day yesterday. When I got this email, I told him, I said, I was having a bad day. I mean, fuck. But compared to that first opening line, the fuck, my day's nothing compared to that, So the last 6 years of his life was rough. He had diabetes, dialysis, colonoscopy bag. He said he got support from the family, his beautiful, incredible wife who was behind him all the way. And he knows that his dad is not suffering anymore. He still feels empty and he still feels the pain. He says, I know it'll get better in time, but to lose a loved one, in his case his father, he wouldn't wish that pain on his worst enemy. He said, he asking me that I still have my parents and to enjoy as much time as I can because tomorrow is not given. So I can use his name. He's soon going to be a 40-year-old natural lifter. I guess he's turning 40, trying to cope with the loss of his father. So here's the deal. He's right, I do have my parents. My dad went through cancer, radiation, chemotherapy, gave him another lease on life. And now there's complications due to that therapy a couple of years later. His lungs are having issues with scar tissue, not being able to breathe correctly from the radiation, which caused damage that apparently it's fairly common in radiation patients. So he's having those issues. He does have degenerative bones in his back, degenerative hips, nerve damage in his legs, 2 torn rotator cuffs that were fixed twice to fix the wrong way. He's in a lot of pain all the time. My mom has had 2 heart attacks, was a heavy smoker. She just quit smoking, which I'm very super proud of her for this last week. And both of them are older. They didn't really take care of themselves. They're up there in years. They're both retired. And I expect any day to get the call that one of them is gone. It could be my dad on the phone or my mom on the phone telling me that the other one is gone. And I don't take that for granted. I do know that is the possibility. When my dad was going through the therapy, Kari and I went up there to Rhode Island. I came home and immediately started writing a eulogy because he looked so bad. I thought that was it. I said, that's probably the last time I'm going to see him alive. And, he got through it and, got some extra time. But now, all it is extra time. I mean, nobody's going to live forever. So, no, I can't say anything to you, Greg. I can't tell you anything except that I'm sorry that this happened. And this stuff happens to people all over the world every day. And somebody's watching this video right now who can relate exactly to you because it just happened to them or happened to them 10 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever the case may be. I mean, I even remember Kevin Levrone talking about his parents when they passed away. He was young. He was very young when that happened. And he's talked to me about that. The Hodge twins talked about how their mom had passed away of cancer. I mean, there's nothing anybody can say to comfort anybody in that point. I mean, they say all the right things, which is, they're in a better place and the suffering is over now and, it takes time and all that stuff. All those things can be said, but none of them really do a goddamn thing. And that's the truth. None of them really help that person. You kind of smile and you say thank you and you go about your day, but deep down inside, you're the one that has to deal with that stuff on the inside. How do you deal with it? I don't know. You just do. I don't. There's no process that I can pinpoint for myself, that it's not like I have a checklist that I go down to process things. I get hurt, I get sad, I get angry. By the time I get to angry, I'm usually making good decisions at that point. If I'm hurt, I make bad decisions. If I'm sad, I make bad decisions. If I'm angry, I make good decisions. So usually when the anger part starts to come about why did this happen to me, motherfucker, I can't believe, when that starts to hit me is usually when I start to make good decisions and snap out of it and really start to put things back together again. I'm not sure if it's that way for everybody. But I agree with Greg that you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And that's why I do and say some of the things that I do. You know, I say some of the things that I do because I don't want to be gone tomorrow and have anyone wonder. You know, I was talking to my friend Christy the other night, and I said, you know what, I lay it all in line. You know, that happened after my last ex-girlfriend, Angelica. I said, you know what, I'm going to be so open about everything. I'm going to tell the next girl that I meet that I was a former heroin addict, or I'm a former heroin addict, that I could possibly relapse in the future. Steroids are involved in my life. I told myself I was going to do all these things, and if that person decided it wasn't for them, then they would know right away and run. But there was no reason for me to lie, hold back, be something I'm not, because tomorrow I might not be here. So if I'm here tomorrow, I'm going to be me tomorrow. If I'm here the next day, I'm going to be me the next day. The difference is if you're lying to someone, not lying, but if you're putting on this image and not being truthful and being honest, then all you're doing is delaying the inevitable of someone finding out who you really are. So no, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So live like today's the last day. Be honest. Tell people you love them. Tell people you hate them. Tell people whatever. You know, just be true to yourself and who you are. And I think people respond to that a lot better. And at the end of the day, when you put your head on the pillow, if it's going to be your last day and you're not going to wake up in the morning, what the fuck? You were just you. You left your stamp on the earth. People are going to respect you for it. And you're not going to be forgotten. You know, like, you're not going to be just another, I mean, the world goes on. You know, I die, a few people are going to fucking mourn. But you know what? 6 months from now, the world's going to go on. People are going to just move on with their lives like you were never here. So do what you can while you're here. And, you know, I definitely think Greg's right. You know, the ones that are around you that you love, let them know. I mean, I'll tell you a true story. Hands down, a true story. When Kari, I'm getting emotional. When Kari and I were first dating, she was living in Montana. And I knew, even though she was out there and I was here, I loved her. I knew. It was a couple months into our relationship, and I knew that I was in love with her. I didn't say it, though, because I was like, I'm not going to tell her I love her. That's fucking stupid. I was being a dickhead. And then Joe, my friend Joe Pacheco, hung himself. And I remember, it was like the day after I got the call, I was getting ready to go up to Rhode Island to be a pallbearer for Joe's funeral. And I was talking to Kari on the phone. I was getting Bruno and Nico ready to, you know, throw them in the car. We were going to drive up. And I was at the mall getting a tie or something for the funeral. And I remember saying, I don't fucking care. And I was on the phone with Kari. I said, you know what? I don't care. What I'm about to tell you right now, you don't have to say it back to me. You don't even, I mean, you can run if you want to right now and never talk to me again. But I want you to know, in case I die tonight on a car accident on the way up to Rhode Island, whatever the case may be, you're going to know the truth about how I feel about you. And I love you. Now was the first time I told Kari that I loved her. It was right then and there on the phone while I was driving home from the mall. Because that was the truth. There was no point in holding off another day, another 2 days, because Joe's death taught me flat out, if you wait, it could be too late. There are things that I wanted to say to Joe that I'm never going to be able to say to him now. You know, I don't know if there were things that he wanted to say to me, but, you know, that was a life lesson for me that was very in your face, raw, real. And that's the way I've lived it ever since then. If I don't like something, I say I don't like it. If I like it, I say I like it. If I love someone, I tell them. You know, I don't wait to let people know how I feel anymore because of the fact that, and this is before I started the YouTube thing, and I think it comes across on the YouTube thing, and that's why so many people respond to it. I don't wait to let people know how I feel, and I don't disguise how I feel because there's no point. If I'm gone tomorrow, maybe those people that wanted to know would have really liked to know what I thought. Just a little life lessons for you guys. This is a heavy one. And Greg, I'm sorry, man. Greg, C-A-B-I-G, K-Big. Greg K-Big 75. Sorry about your dad, bro. Bios3training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is a blog. Here's to your dad, Greg. It's a 18-inch gun salute, and we're out.